So good afternoon. I'm Sally from Gen E Business. Today I'm going to talk about auto account e-invoice, the business flow, and some new features. I know that some of you are going to implement e-invoice this coming January 1st. That's why there are this session to help you to refresh about some memories about e-invoice. Maybe you already attended many sessions previously, but maybe you can't recall about how the transaction going to perform. So this will be the good chance for you to refresh lah. Okay. As per you all know, our PM, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, just announced some bombastic news last weekend, Sunday, about Malaysia going to raise e-invoice exemption threshold to 1 million for SME. That mean what? That mean if your gross sales are not revenue, gross sales below than 1 million, you are exempted to perform e-invoice transaction. Okay, you no need to on board to e-invoice. Okay, so these are the good news to those worried about how they are going to, execute e-invoice. Okay. For you guys, if you don't know when are you going to onboard, these are some, summary. Okay. Now we are in phase 4. Okay. Phase 4. So phase 4 should be 1 million up to 5 million. So phase 4 is 1 million up to 5 million, which is the coming January 1st, 2026. Okay, if you less than 1 million, you are exempted until your business hit 1 million. Exempted doesn't mean you no need at all, unless your sales are always below 1 million. If you one day going to hit 1 million and above, you are going to onboard also. Okay, it doesn't mean forever. Okay, so how do we identify when are we going to onboard? So if your annual turnover more than 1 million, be on 2022, based on 2022 sales, not revenue, sales. Based on 2022 sales, if your sales in year 2022 hit 1 million and above, you're going to onboard on 1st of January 2026. But if your annual revenue between 2023 until 2025 more than 1 million, then you're going to onboard on July 1st, 2026. That means 2022 below 1 million, no need. 2033 below 1 million, no need. 2024 above 1 million, then you're going to start on July 1st. Okay, you're going to start on July 1st. Or 2025, this year, you are hitting 1 million and above, then you are going to start on July 1st. Okay, so your annual turnover more than 1 million or after 2026. So if you after 2026 only hit the 1 million, so you'll be the second year after the year you hit 1 million. That means if you 2026 hit 2027 hit 1 million, then 2029 only start to implement e-invoice. That means they give you 1 year ahead to execute this e-invoice. But 2022 must start on January 1st. Okay, 2023 until 2025, if you hit either of this within this year, this 2023, 2024, 2025, either 1 year, you're going to start on July 1st. If you are in 2027 or 2026, after 2026, example, you are 2027 hitting 1 million, then 2029, 1st January, you're going to start implement e-invoice. Okay, so these are the time frames you are going to execute For those are above 1 million. For those below 1 million, you are exempted until your business hit 1 million. Okay, so these are the time frame. Okay, so for you guys, doing e-invoice actually, for the time January 1st, if you start to onboard, you are actually can issue the consolidate e-invoice. Okay, you are actually giving time for you to issue consolidate for 6 months. Okay, consolidated e-invoice for 6 months if you just started on 1st January. Okay, so this is because they are giving you relaxation period. What is relaxation period? So if you started on 1st January 2026, you only do consolidated e-invoice or consolidated sell bill e-invoice. Okay, you console the entire month transaction and submit on the next month by latest 7. Okay, so there will be no QR code generated in your invoice. Okay, consolidate means everything you gabungkan, you console in a lump sum, in a big amount, and then upload to my invoice portal. So you only give customer normal invoice, no QR code. Okay, a lot of people confuse. I start e-invoice, must have QR code. No, for relaxation period, 6 months maximum. If you're doing relaxation period 6 months, you are doing consolidated e-invoice or consolidated sell bill. There is no QR code generated in your invoice or anything. Okay, so there will be a submission as lump sum amount. That means you lump sum the entire month, let's say 30,000, you lump sum the 30,000 amount and then upload. We don't know inside 30,000 is which customer. Okay, we don't know, just a lump sum. So you may check your submission via the My Invoice portal. So relaxation period is actually 6 months. Okay, 6 months. But you can shorten it. Or if you think yourself is ready for standard e-invoice. Standard e-invoice means you submit one by one. You don't want to gabung everything and do a summary at a month end. You can directly submit one by one. Okay, then you just ignore the relaxation period. That means you no need to, give time frame for yourself to get ready. If you are ready, then you go for the one by one submission. For those are really tension about going one by one, you need more time to prepare. Then you make use of the relaxation period. Okay, maximum is 6 months. But you can shorten it if you think you are ready. You can shorten to 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, up to you. But the maximum is 6 months only. Okay, so how are we going to do it in AutoCount? So this is your AutoCount. For your information, the latest AutoCount already have some new function and features lah. Okay, and inside the new function and features, previously we are inside the tools, right? Tools option. But now they're taken out the tools option. The e-invoice not going to happen here, the setting. So they already changed it on the top. So e-invoice, the setting will be on the top, on the bar, on the top bar. So the e-invoice setting, you just click it. That is a setting here. So you may enable or disable. Some of the customer called and asked, if I below 1 million, can I disable my e-invoice? I no need to do any e-invoice. Yes, you may go to the top bar here, e-invoice setting. You just go to the setting and disable, untick the enable. Okay, untick. Okay, but if you are starting to do the e-invoice, you must tick, okay? And then the start date, please change it to January 1st, according to when you're going to start. Some already started, some going to start. So if you are coming January start, please change it to 1st January 2026. If you think you want a relaxation period, please allow interim relaxation period. That is the maximum of 6 months. That means your relaxation period until 30th June 2026, you know? So that is 6 months for you. Okay, that's 6 months for you. But your start date will be 1st January 2026 lah, okay? I can't change mine because later I need to do demo. So I just keep it as July. But your interim relaxation period is 6 months, okay? Can I shorten it? Yes, you can do it on 3-month basis, 2-month basis, up to you. That means when you shorten it, you will start your 1-by-1 submission after that. Or after that, okay. Some industry, after relaxation period, they are not allowed to issue consolidated invoice. What are the industry? Okay, these are the industry: automotive, aviation, construction material. Okay, construction material. You must follow the schedule under 4th schedule of CIDB. Okay. If you don't have the schedule, you can get it from me later. Okay. The CIBB 4th schedule, inside the schedule, there is a list of construction material that you need to adhere and follow the rules. That means you cannot do consolidate. Cannot do consolidate. You must send 1-by-1. This is after relaxation period. Before that, you can do it. But after that, you cannot. Okay? So this few industry, take note. If you are selling cars, you are doing aviation, that means sell air ticket or what. If you're in construction or construction materials, then you need to take note. And luxury good, this one has not yet confirmed by government, because government cannot define what is luxury goods. So this one can be delayed later lah. Luxury goods still can do consolidate. Okay, still can do consolidate, but other than that cannot lah. Automotive inclusive of selling motorbike. Okay, cars and vehicles and motorbikes and lorry and etc. So if you are not allowed to do consolidate, please untick. Okay, untick means this one you cannot. That's why those industry I mentioned just now, you can untick. Not allowed to create consolidate. Okay, so after that, beneath there is a use today date as submission date when document date is not a valid submission date. This one previously the setting is at the individual invoice. That means if you are not you are submitting backdated invoice or backdated transaction, usually the My Invoice portal will reject you. Okay, but if you tick this one, you tick use today's date, that means they will ignore the backdated. Okay, they will ignore the backdated and allow you to submit, even though the last month transaction, last 2 months transaction, last year transaction, and so on. Okay, so this one, you tick it, that means you no need to care about what is the date already. You just submit. Okay, previously this setting is in the individual document. You need to go setting there and tick every time and put the date. But now the system make it as you can do it as default already. No need to every time go and tick. Okay, so this one you can tick it so that it won't trouble you every time, you know. And enable validate e-invoice within 72 hours. Okay, previously the version you are not allowed to edit the transaction. I mean auto count lah, not the My Invoice portal. My Invoice portal e-invoice rules and regulation within 72 hours, you still can edit your document. Okay, you still can edit and resubmit again. But previously, our auto count, you need to cancel the document. Okay, and you need to jump the number. That means the numbering will jump after you void and cancel, right? And then you resubmit. So now you can use back the document number. That means if you want to cancel within 72 hours, you need to do amend. Somehow your unit wrong, your quantity wrong, your price wrong, or your customer name wrong, you can just edit with the same document number within 72 hours. So enable to edit. Okay? Enable to edit. That means you can use back the document number, same document, and submit again within 72 hours. But if your company is very strict about this one, they're not allowed to use back, then you don't take this one. Okay? Some company, they are Berhad, they got KPI, they got business flow control. They're not allowed you to use back the number. You don't take this one. Okay? If you take this one means you can use back the same document number to submit again within 72 hours. It won't jump the number, okay? So everyone already know what is classification code now. Classification code means if you do e-invoice submission standard one by one or cell bill or anything, you need to put the classification code. Without the classification code, your invoice or your submission may be invalid. So this one, you can set a default. If you think your transaction, many of them are using 022. 022 is a very regularly used code, which is others. Okay, if you think your transaction 90% are 022, then you set a default lor. Okay, so if you don't want to set a default, also can. It doesn't force you to do this must do this setting now. Okay, this is for general setting. If you think you don't want to apply in item maintenance, because item maintenance there also can set classification code, but you think it's very hassle to do it there, you can do it as a general setting as a default classification code. Okay, so you can set this. And we have an auto email validate. Okay, auto email validate. This one also depends on you, whether you want to activate or don't want to activate. Because this one also a new function to allow you to email your e-invoice after the e-invoice is validated in AutoCount. That means you no need to manual email lor. After you validate, software will help you to email. But this one, you need to do email setting. Okay, this email setting, you need to get your IT people, or you can ask ChatGPT. Okay, if you are using Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, you can ask ChatGPT, because in Gmail, there is another setting inside that allow third-party linking one. This one, they need a special password. So you can use the ChatGPT or AI and ask question, and they will guide you how to do it. Okay, but if you have in-house IT guy or IT department, ask your IT department to test. After you set everything, you can send a test email to yourself or to other email outside, and you can test whether it go through or not. Okay, so this one not going to help you. You go to help yourself. Go to ChatGPT, ask about the setting, and because Gmail, there are two-step authenticator, if I'm not mistaken. So you need to get the password inside your Google account. So this one is very technical lah. You can ask GPT. They will guide you step by step. Okay. So this email setting, you can enable only to invoice, and you may select what format you want to send. Okay, you can enable, and then this email content, you can write the email content. Okay, what is your email content? You want to write it inside the email. Okay, this one is up to your setting. How do you want to set it? Okay, if you have your own email plug in already, you no need do this lah. Unless you just want to, you know, make yourself easier. Okay, no need to manual email every time. Then you use this function. But if you think you want to manual email, also can, because this is not a compulsory thing to do. Just enable auto email just for to validate the e-invoice. Actually, when you send the e-invoice, the buyer, I mean your customer, they will get notification from My Invoice Portal also, but they need you to send them the QR copy. And this one will help you to send auto. But can I send manual? Can. Send manual also can. But if you want system to automate, then you need to do the email setting, okay? And test it out inside, okay? So this one is update the code list. That means update your MSIC code, your classification code, whatever code inside the software. Just to click one time and then update. That's all, okay? So this is the general setting for e-invoice. Any questions? Any question about this? Actually, everyone already know lah. And I think all of you already connected to My Invoice Portal. For those haven't connect to My Invoice Portal, please do it. If you are coming soon to onboard in January, okay, do it and get the guide from me if you do not have. Because previous Zoom training, I already keep repeating all the guide, okay? Jessica, don't draw my screen. Jessica, please erase. Okay. After that, we're going to talk about the company profile. Here, you must have the tax entity. So make sure you have your tax entity put inside your company profile. That means this one is your own company tax entity. So, and tax entity profile, where to store? Every profile will store under the tax entity maintenance. Okay, so they will store under here. So what you do is you create your own company tax entity and link back to your company profile. Okay, put your company TIN. Okay, example, put your company TIN, put your business registration, okay, put your MSIC code, okay, put your registration name, and put your phone. Okay, the phone number +6, +6, without dash, without space, without dash, without space, okay? Email address, business address, postcode, country, city, and states, okay? The rest, if you don't have the information, no need to put, just empty it. Empty it will do. No need to put dash, no need to put NIL, NIL, no need, just empty it. So this is the tax entity. So the buyer, all the information will be stored inside the tax entity maintenance. And there is one new function called import QR code. So if I'm not mistaken, from the My Invoice Portal, you can generate your own QR code. The purpose of generate the QR code is for you to send to your seller, okay, or whoever you need the QR code, so that they can import. When they import the QR code, they can directly fulfill the tax entity. That means you no need to key in and ask. Okay, so this is the purpose of import QR. So inside the My Invoice portal already got the QR. You can log in and see. Inside the My Invoice portal already got the QR code. You just log in and check. And then if you malas to give the information, you just give the seller your QR code. Ask them to scan directly. They can capture this information and update. Okay, so this is also one of the new function that we have. Apart of that, let me check my agenda. Okay. Okay, this one I already explained relaxation. After relaxation, what we do, we only can send standard e-invoice one by one submission. If you are the industry I mentioned, not allowed to send console, then you send the standard e-invoice. This is normally do by B2B business. That means business to business. Okay. Except some industry cannot. Okay. Consolidated invoice, then submit. This one is B2C. Okay, if your business is a mixture of B2C and B2B, B2B means normal business to business, then you send the standard invoice. B2C means you are going to entertain walk-in customer, but walk-in customer or cash sales, maybe they are not there's no need to ask for e-invoice. Maybe they don't need. So you may send consolidate. Okay, you can also do consolidate. Then you submit by latest 7th of next month. Then the rest will be the sell bill, e-invoice for your expenses. Okay, and some of the import goods and service. So after 6 months, there will be the actual e-invoice transaction. So you can have the mixture of 1, 2, 3. That means after the relaxation period of 6 months, you are going to do a mixture of standard, console, and sell bill. Unless you are those industry, I'm going to change this one. Sorry. That means most some industry must adhere to standard one by one. Okay. Then the rest, if they are not in the rules that you cannot issue console, then you can issue. That means you are in a mixture of 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So inside the actual e-invoice, the QR code will be generated in a single invoice. Invoice, CNDN, etc. will be submitted as a single submission. You may check your submission via My Invoice portal or inside AutoCount. There is a UUID validation link for you to check whether your invoice already submitted successful or not. Okay, let me do a sample of during relaxation period. Okay, during relaxation period, let's say you have issued some of your cash sales or invoice. So this is some of the cash sales or invoice that you do in October month. Okay, I assume now this is my e-invoice I on board already. So doing the cash sales, that means TIN, you no need to do the TIN number. Why? Because the customer doesn't need, the consolidated e-invoice is no need you to fulfill the TIN information. That's why TIN is not specified. And during the relaxation period, TIN is no need. You just issue the cash sale and do your normal cash sale as what you are doing now. If you are not yet on board. So after that, end of the month, you just go to e-invoice consolidated. Okay, let's say this is your first relaxation period. Okay, you just go to new and then you go to your submission month. Let's say it's in the October. So you go to October and go to end of the month. Okay, end of the month, 31st October, and then you tick whichever transaction you want to console and just generate it. Then this will be your lump sum. That means inside your October month, 500 77.36 is your lump sum. Then you just save it. Then software will help you to submit to My Invoice Portal. Okay, as per mentioned, as you can see on the screen, is being submitted. How am I know I'm submitted? Either you can view and then you can check on the e-invoice info, okay? And then you can, after it's valid, then it will have the link, okay? I refresh a bit and then I come back to e-invoice, consolidate, refresh. This one also depend My Invoice Portal lah. If you valid already, that means if you view, then you got the link. Or you got the link, and then you can click the validation link, and then directly you can see the summary of your submission. Okay, just now I submitted, the status is submitted, haven't valid, so I don't have the link yet. So this one also depends how fast the My Invoice Portal react. Okay, so okay, now already valid. You can see we actually have the hour, 71 hour 58 minutes. That means you can still change your consolidated e-invoice within 72 hours. Okay, we have indicate the hours and minute for you, so that you know you still can change. Okay, previously there is no hour and minute indicator, so now we have. So like this valid, you cannot change because already past 72 hours already. So what you can do is you need to issue CN or DN to adjust. Okay, so now the consolidate still can change. Okay, still can change before 7 of next month. So don't submit last minute until 7 so that you can have more, you have more time frame for you to change if you have any issue with your submission. So now you can see it's validated with the validation link. Okay, this is the validation link. And then if you go to the My Invoice Portal, you can check on your submission. Okay, refresh a bit. Okay, now you can see this is the consolidated e-invoice that just now I mentioned. This is live, so 577.36. Okay, can you see? Valid. Okay, 3:31 p.m. Okay, so it's 577.36. So it's directly already presented in My Invoice Portal with valid status. Okay, with valid status. So this is consolidate. Okay, this is consolidate. And for standard e-invoice, okay, you must have the customer info and TIN. Okay, name, company name, TIN, BRN or IC, passport, email, address, and telephone. See whether your info is for business or individual. If individual, there is a IC or passport. Okay, and if a customer is a business entity, then it's a TIN with C number or D number or etc. Okay, then you must have the content, invoice content, like description, unit, UOM, unit price, tax. If you have SST, then sales tax, service tax must insert classification code and so on. But if you don't have SST, tax is not your issue. And this is the last one is valid with QR code. Okay, valid with QR code, then send to buyer. So this is the standard invoice. So how are we going to indicate standard invoice? First of all the debtor or debtor usually must enclose with tax entity. So even this is your debtor maintenance. Here must have the tax entity. This tax entity, as I mentioned, linked to the tax entity profile just now. Okay, so you must select and link. Let's say you don't have the tax entity. Okay, you don't have. So you must get TIN from AIP server. AIP server is what? AIP server is our AutoCount server. Either you can search them, because a lot of customer actually also like you using AutoCount. So some of them may store their information in AutoCount big server called AIP server. So what you do is you search them, maybe you can get their tax entity directly. Okay, search already, get, then save. Then you no need to ask your customer lah. Okay, so this is more easy way. Let's say after you search, after you press search button, it doesn't indicate anything come out. That means this customer may be not using AutoCount, or maybe they are not sharing their information in our server. So what you do, yes, you can request, send them a request link. Okay, generate a link and then send them, copy this link and then send them using email or what, and then ask them to fill up the Google form. Okay, this is the Google form. Ask them to fill up, and then submit to you. Okay, submit to you. After they submit, you just search them again, and then you add them accordingly to your profile. Okay, so this is how we're going to add our tax TIN number inside the debtor maintenance. Okay, so if you think this debtor you cannot send, you do not submit e-invoice, so maybe this debtor is a cash sale debtor or what, you no need to submit, so you just tick this one. Okay, this depends. Some customer, maybe you need to maintain them as a debtor profile, but they are cash customer. They don't need any e-invoice from you. So you can also forever tick this one, do not submit, so that you don't every time go and hassle to ask them TIN, okay, whatever. Okay, this is how our profile, debtor profile link with TIN number. Okay, so if this is a cash sale customer, okay, this is a cash sales, majorly your business are in cash term or with cash sales customer or walk-in customer, you can tick this cash sales debtor. Okay, why you need to tick this one? Because some customer may need e-invoice from you. Some customer do not need, but always we only can link the TIN with the debtor code, right? So that's why you tick this one. You can use back the cash sale debtor code. That means 3009999. Okay, without create many code for those customer that need e-invoice. So you use back this cash sale customer code with the tick here, save it. So when you issue invoice to cash sales customer, example, you issue this invoice to a cash sale customer, you can always use back this debtor code and link with different TIN number, you see. You no need to only specify this customer cash link with one TIN. Let's say you have 100 cash sales customer need e-invoice. Are you going to create 100 debtor code just for the TIN purpose? No, correct. This is not relevant now, okay? So to avoid, you create so many debtor code, use back the cash sales debtor or whatever debtor code you like as a general code and link back to multiple TIN in a transaction. Okay, so if this customer is a cash sale customer, but they need the e-invoice, you just going to select the tax TIN or create a new tax TIN just for his purpose, his or her purpose, and then link back. Okay, then they got TIN already, no? Okay, so this is still the cash sale customer. Example, Mr. Lim. This is still him. Sorry, big cap. This is still Mr. Lim. Then you still issue the same thing. Issue the item code, issue whatever you want, and just approve and submit. That's all. Okay. This one, you know, because of SSD. So you just submit accordingly. Okay. So this is the purpose of the cash sales with the tin. Okay, I saw someone ask questions. If cash sales customer request invoice after payment and cash sales printed, okay, as you know, cash sales without tin is considered consolidate, consolidate. That means consolidate is submitted on the next month, 7th of next month. If the customer requests after 7, you already submit console, then you tell the customer, sorry, we can't give you e-invoice. Also based on you lah, okay, whether you want this customer, want to entertain this customer or not, because you already submitted as consolidate. Then after 7 already, suddenly this customer come back and ask for e-invoice. So I ask you back, are you going to entertain him? If you're going to entertain him means you're going to create a credit note, okay? And credit note your consolidate e-invoice portion and issue him again a new standard e-invoice one by one. So this is how it goes. If you're not going to entertain him, just tell him off lah. I'm so sorry. Already after 7 of next month, then it's our company policy. We cannot issue you any e-invoice after that. So you guys can actually put this clause in your invoice or cash sales so that it will eliminate some of the customer that take this opportunity and come back after 1 month later or 2 months later just to ask you to issue a 1-by-1 standard invoice with the QR code. Okay, so with the clause in your invoice or cash sales, you can eliminate a lot of this kind of requests lah. Okay, so also depends if you think this customer is very important to you, you don't want to upset them, maybe you can just CN and create a new 1-by-1 e-invoice. Okay, so as per mentioned, it already go through. Okay, so this cash sales with the cash sale code, but you can link to multiple tin. Okay, multiple tin. Okay, so you no need to create many debtor code. Okay, so this is the 1-by-1 submission. As you can see, submission must have the classification code. Okay, without it, you cannot do it. Okay, so when you submitted already, what you can do is you can preview and you can see that is a standard Malaysia e-invoice format inside AutoCount. Okay, so you can issue this with the QR code because it's 1-by-1 submission so you can issue this with a QR code. Okay, so every transaction preview also using the same format using the same format with the Malaysia e-invoice QR code. That means you no need to every time go and copy paste for invoice 1, copy paste for invoice 2. No, there's no need to do that. So all the QR code actually using the format with the QR code. The QR code you send, you scan will be different every transaction. Okay, as per mentioned, the QR code is actually based on your link, your submission, this one. When you scan the QR code, actually the C is this one, a summary of your submission. Okay, so it doesn't mean that every time you preview the invoice, you're going to create a new format. No, a lot of customers very mistaken about this. They ask why every time So how are we going to copy paste the QR? No, use back the same format. The format must have QR lah, of course. Okay, if you use the normal format without QR, there won't be any QR code. Okay, so how to copy paste the QR code? Either you go to your sales invoice, okay, go to the report, okay, report on the top, go to design document, click it, okay. Then the format will prompt lah. The format will prompt. Sorry, a bit lag for my PC. Okay, the format will prompt, and then you go and check this Malaysia e-invoice. Okay, so you're going to click, highlight this format, click the design. Okay, click the design. Then the design will open. Then you can see the QR code normally is on the bottom. On the bottom. So you just copy it. Copy, highlight the format, press copy button. Copy, and then minimize it. Go back to your own design. This is the own design with the name, right? Own design. Click, double click your own design, or click design button also can. And then paste the QR code. Paste it. Okay. Maybe you paste it on the bottom. Okay. Paste it on the bottom. You can paste it on the bottom or on the top. Up to you. Okay. You can paste it on the bottom or on the top. So paste it. After paste, and then this is a diskette on your diskette symbol on your left top. Then click save. Or you can file, save as. Okay, and then save back the same name. Yes, to replace it. Then you save. Okay, save. Done. Then when you preview, then you can directly see the code inside your format. Okay. Here. Okay. So you can paste it on the bottom or on the top. Depends. Depends how your design lah. Some people on the top already bombastic design. Can no space already. So put at the bottom. Okay. So after you done this one, you can export it to PDF and then manually email to your customer. If you do not want manually email, then do the setting at the auto email here. Okay, auto email validate. That means after your e-invoice validated, system will automatic email, but select the format that you need lah. Select the correct format and put the setting correctly. Then system will auto email to your customer. Got it? Okay. So far, any more questions before I go further? Okay, so these are some of the new function. Okay, for the 72 hours one, I want to demo a bit. 72 hours. Okay, now I already submit so valid 71 hours 51 minutes, correct? But then I fill up, my price is wrong. So I go to edit. So I go and edit. I just edit the price 550. Just now is 500, right? So now I'm going to edit my unit price. The invoice number is this one, INV 2512000002. Okay, submitted just now. So I'm going to save again. So system will ask, do you want to edit? Yes. So the reason why I'm edit is because my price wrong. Okay, my price is wrong. Then okay. So system will help me to rectify. After I done, then now they submit again. Refresh, then submitted. When one time another refresh, they will resubmit. So inside my invoice portal, as you can see, I refresh a bit now. Just now the invoice 2512002, okay? Now it's validated with this is the old price, This is the old price. Okay. Now you can see the old price is 500. Okay. Now they have another new price coming out on the top, but the invoice number is the same. You see 002. This is my old price. Then another one, INV 2512002 also is the new price. So you can see the new price is 550. Okay, so already amended. But if I check back the previous one, the number one, the one I edited, the status will be cancel. And the cancel reason is price wrong. So what does it mean? It means when you do the editing within 72 hours, inside the auto count, you use back the same invoice number, which is 251200002. System, our auto count will help you to cancel it, the previous wrong one, 500, and then help you to resubmit again with the new one, 550. Okay, but the invoice number still 251200002. Okay, so the validation is on the new price. Okay, so this is how 72 hours work in AutoCount. But after 72 hours cannot. After 72 hours, you need to do CN or DN to adjust. Like this one, valid already. Valid, but after 72 hours, because there is no clock mentioned here. There's no timing. No timing means already after 72 hours. So what you do is you adjust it with the CN or DN. Same thing lah. CN, just adjust the number. Go to the CN, create new. Okay. Transfer from invoice. Okay. C, select the debtor first. Activo. Transfer from invoice. See which invoice you want to CN. Just tick and then transfer. Okay. So this is how it goes. Okay. This is how it goes. In CN also need to upload and validate it. Okay. With the UUID. Okay. CN also have the QR code. CN also have the QR code. That means it's a valid CN. There is a QR code on the bottom. Okay, so this is how it works. And for your information, for the coming 1st of January 2026, if you are not in the relaxation period, you are in the actual after 6 months relaxation period already. This is the most updated one, which is on the 1st January 2026. If your transaction more than 10K, 10,000 in one invoice or one transaction or one invoice, one cash sale or what, must do e-invoice one by one submission, cannot console. Even though the customer walk in, he say, I do not need e-invoice. But the thing he bought is 10K. So start from 1st of January 2026. He like it or not, must give you TIN number. That means you need to submit one by one. You cannot do consolidate. Okay? For those customer, one transaction is 10K and above. Okay? So I think you all know what to escape. So you all think about that. And 1st of January also, industry that doing electric, like pengagihan, pembekalan, or penjual electric, this one is Tenaga lah. Tenaga Nasional will only issue standard e-invoice. They cannot issue consolidate to you. Okay, so start from 1st of January 2026. And another one, for those selling internet package or selling electronic like handphone or whatever, telecommunication, you are not allowed to issue consolidate. You must issue one by one submission after your relaxation period. Okay, relaxation period, nothing happened. Just you still can do the 10K with no need submit e-invoice, submit the console. But after relaxation period, 10K cannot. Okay, start from 1st of January. And those are selling internet package, prepaid card or handphone, you must do one by one submission. Even though the person come and buy, say, I no need e-invoice, but you still need to do one by one submission. This is government rules. Start from 1st of January 2026 under Jadual 3.6 Garis Panduan Specific e-invoice. Okay, so this is some updates. Okay, I done this. Okay. Okay, let's talk about sell bill. Okay, as you know, sell bill e-invoice basically is about the import goods, import service, and some expense like individual that doesn't conduct business, but they are taxpayer. So we inside our cash book entry, okay, so like this cash sales debtor, okay, no, like this you are paying rental to a person like Mr. Tan. Okay, he is a landlord. Okay, so you are paying rental to Mr. Tan every month, but Mr. Tan, he does not doing business. I mean, he is just a retired person, retired but without any business, and he cannot give you any invoice. So what you do is you pay him payment voucher, correct? Every month you pay payment voucher to Mr. Tan. You still issue payment voucher as usual, okay? Still issue, but you can send him sell bill. You must upload the sell bill e-invoice to My Invoice Portal. Just right-click the payment voucher, copy to a new sell bill. That means you must ask Mr. Tan to give you his TIN number, his IG number, if this is a personal, so individual, so should be IG, okay, IG what, you ask the number from Mr. Tan, and then his My Card, okay? If he refuse to give you My Card, you just use general TIN, okay? If you refuse to give you TIN number, you can use general TIN and then put his My Card, okay? His My Card. Let's say this is the My Card number. Just put the My Card, okay? Number, the phone number, okay? No dash anything. The email, whatever, then fulfill, okay? Fulfill the TIN and then put in the information as per mentioned and then approve, okay? So questions. How about church offering collecting during church service? Sometimes we'll collect more than 10K for one service. Yes, you can do that lah. If your church offering the church service member agree that if they don't want to disclose, you can do that. Okay. And so this one, after you fulfill, then you just approve. Okay. So this one must put rental. Okay. I select some other lah. This is my, sorry. Wait. Let's say I create Okay, right click to sell bill, and then you can put in the tin. Okay, put in the tin and then fulfill. If you don't want to copy like that, straight away you can go to e-invoice sell bill. Okay, e-invoice sell bill. Under here, you can create new. That means you can manual put key in also can. So either you can right click from the transaction just now, or manual key in and input, or you can from here copy from cash book. Click copy, search, and then tick whichever is relevant, and then okay. And then you can just approve. Okay, so either from the sell bill transaction, copy from the previous transaction, or you can go to that cash book, right click and copy to a new sell bill. When this is a consolidate sell bill, you just tick consolidate here. So there is a consolidate function on the top. So this is a consolidate, you may tick consolidate. Or you can copy from purchase invoice, cash purchase, purchase return, AP debit note, and AP credit note. So under the document type, because sell bill, we do not separate to different features. So the document type can be sell bill invoice, sell bill credit note, sell bill debit note, and sell bill refund note. Refund note only for those post system. Okay, so usually it's sell bill invoice, credit note, and debit note. Okay, so here can vice versa. That means can be done copy from here, or go to the purchase invoice, and then you right click and copy to a new sell bill also can. Okay, so either one. So if this is a overseas supply, okay, if this is a overseas supply, import service, right click, copy to a new sell bill. When you do the overseas supply, when you do the supplier tin, so make sure the country, because it's overseas, so make sure the country is overseas. Then you tick use foreign tin, okay? And then the rest you just fill up will do, okay? No need to manual key in the EI, even though this is EI 99930, but our software just you just no need to remember EI 3040 or what. You just directly click the use warranty, fulfill the business registration if any, okay, and then the register name, the phone, the address, and so on. Fulfill the one with the red dot, okay, and just click or close, and then you can just submit. Okay, for your information, import goods, you got 2 months period to do that. After you key in your purchase invoice from your foreign supply goods like Taobao, like Amazon, or your supplier in China, Japan, US, you key in the purchase invoice, you got 2 months time to submit the sell bill. Okay, why got 2 months time? Because you need to key in the annexure for K1 form if you have. Okay, annexure for K1 form, for agreement, for custom number 2, and so on, Incoterm, and so on. You allow 2 months to submit if import goods. If import service, then you got 1 month time to submit. After your purchase invoice, you either see whether you receive the you pay first or you get the service first. After your payment or your invoice, you can just submit your sell bill. Either one. Payment come first or invoice come first. If the supplier give you invoice, then after 1 month you submit. If the payment you send to them already, then after 1 month you submit. Okay, so only import goods and service have the time frame. Apart from there, the rest like renter for single person renter, or your landlord, the one the sell bill, your dealer, the agent, the commission sell bill, those are not, don't have any time frame. You can submit anytime. You can submit this month, next 2 months, next 3 months, next half year, also no problem. Okay, you can submit anytime. Okay. Support drill down to sell bill when click sell bill document number. Okay, let's say this cash book entry, I already submitted sell bill. Example, this one. There is a sell bill document number here. So which one already submitted sell bill? I just double click, then I able to see the sell bill. So now they already link the transaction with the sell bill. So you just double click here, then you can see the sell bill accordingly. Even purchase invoice, like this one, I already issue sell bill ma. So they already got sell bill number here. Just double click, it will link to the respective sell bill. Okay, so it's already linked. And merge tax entity access right. Previously we did not have merge tax entity because some people, they create many tax entities, some they are repeated. Then here I think got the merge. So inside the change code, tools change code, you can merge your tax entity already. This entity merge to another new entity. So maybe some people repeat, one company repeat 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, then you can merge back lah. So there is a change code and then merge tax entity function under merge tax entity. So you can search the tax entity you want to merge, okay? And then new tax entity you want to merge, and then merge. Then they will merge together, combine together, okay? So that you don't have repeated tax entity maintenance, so many, until yourself also confused. Okay, another one is very, very new one. I want to explain here. Okay, inside the e-invoice, there is apart from sell bill console, now we have, based on a lot of requests, now we can sync the e-invoice from My Invoice Portal. Okay, let's say, let's see. Now we go back to the My Invoice Portal. This is live. So we look on the receive button. So every day we receive many e-invoice from our supplier, correct? Because a lot of people send us e-invoice ma. So if you're going to check it, unless you export it to Excel, and then you're going to do the, your Excel expert, you're going to do the magic with the Excel, or else you're going to click one by one and see who sent me. Oh, CBS sent me. And then what is the item? Then you're going to check one by one. So now AutoCount has this new function where you can import supplier e-invoice from My Invoice Portal. Okay, so you no need go to My Invoice Portal and check, and your mata becomes Sengit. So what you do is you go to import, then you go to synchronize. So what date you want to sync? Let's say I want to sync today's e-invoice. So maybe I sync from early morning, 00. They got time for you lah. Up to now. Up to now. Now is 4 o'clock. So up to now. Then I click start sync. You see my record only on the 8th. There's no 9 transaction. 9 of December. There's none. Only 8. So what I do is I start sync. Yes. So software will help me to capture, capture all the e-invoice from my Invoice Portal. So after you sync, these are the new one, 9999. Can you see? 9999. Then I know I have 4 e-invoice by my supplier, CBS. So I can filter Let's say you have many supplier, you can filter lor. Then you can see all. Here is easier, easier for you to check who is the supplier, what is the TIN, what is the UUID, what's the document number, and so on. So if you want to double click, you can double click. Then you can see the supplier invoice here. But is this invoice is automatically go into my purchase invoice in AutoCount? No. The answer is no. Just to sync for you to see only. But if you want to go to your purchase invoice, what you can do, you can convert. Okay, you can convert. Okay, I make it smaller. Okay, I make it smaller. Here got the convert button on the bottom. Convert to purchase invoice or convert to cash purchase or AP invoice. Depends. Depends you. You want to convert to AP also can. Convert to cash. Convert to purchase invoice also can. So when you click convert to purchase invoice, they will help you to convert to purchase invoice. But the item code you sendiri match back. You match back your item code. Because supplier item code is not going to send with us. Okay, supplier item code may be ABC. Our item code may be CDE. So you're going to select back your own item code and merge and save. This is manual. This is manual. That means the synchronize from my invoice portal, supplier invoice, not going to automatically go into your AutoCount and save. No, it's just a preview. But you need to manual convert either to purchase invoice or cash purchase or AP invoice. You can select which one you like. Okay? But can I reject? Yes. Within 72 hours, if your supplier send you think it's wrong, you can reject from AutoCount. Okay? You can reject from AutoCount. For your information, any cancellation, rejection, please do in AutoCount. Do not do in My Invoice portal because AutoCount will sync to My Invoice. But My Invoice won't sync to AutoCount. Got what I mean? Some customer call, Sally, I cancel my invoice, supplier invoice in AutoCount. Why my AutoCount still not update? Because we are not going to sync from My Invoice portal unless you do synchronize like that. Okay, so now is one way. Even though 72 hours also you reject you edit or amend in in AutoCount, not in My Invoice portal. Even though in My Invoice portal you can cancel and submit again, but do it in AutoCount always. Always. So you can reject here, then the My Invoice portal will be rejected accordingly. Okay, so here you can manual match back to your purchase invoice, but you have to do it manually because we don't know which item code you want to match unless you already do some supplier item mapping. But this one very tedious. What do you mean by tedious? You need to go one by one. Okay, this supplier CBS, this item code package 1, okay, is actually for supplier side. What is their description? If they send this description, then we know it's this item code. So this one is a bit messy for you lah. Okay, so we actually, if you have a little bit transaction or little bit SKU, then you can do lah. But if your supplier chain description, you will not capture. You must match with the supplier description. Because in your description, maybe you are item A, but in your supplier description, maybe it's mouse. So must do some matching. Pre-matching. This is called pre-matching stage. And then you set your matching. Then only when you do convert to purchase invoice, then will be auto. No need to do manual already. Convert and then they will auto help you to match. But this one, you must do the supplier item mapping first. Okay? If you do already, then there is another called reconcile. That means I synchronize all the supplier invoice in. I can reconcile with my existing one. That means on the here I can really put the date and I can show what is synchronized. That means how am I going to explain this? Okay, like you do bank recon, you see. Bank recon, you need to tick, correct? Because some transaction already in your system and match with the bank, So this one also same. If I already key in this purchase invoice, that means when before I synchronize from my invoice portal, I already have this transaction inside my purchase invoice 00030. So when I do the reconcile, system will acknowledge me. Oh, you already have this inside your purchase invoice. Then we match you. You no need to manual match already. You already got this inside your purchase invoice. Then we don't double intake. We don't double intake because I already sense you have the same invoice number, same item and same price, and the same supplier. So they don't really going to do the synchronize and auto matching. Okay. Unless you don't want to do reconcile, then you you can do the manual matching. Okay. So here is how it works. But I can tell you when you do synchronize supplier invoice and automatically do matching, let's say do converting to purchase invoice, you will skip. That means you will skip because some customer, they really will follow the procedure like from purchase order to purchase the good received note, from the good received note transfer to purchase invoice, correct? So if you do that auto manual matching or manual synchronize from purchase invoice in my invoice portal, you will skip this. You will skip this purchase order transfer to purchase invoice or purchase order transfer to good receive note to purchase invoice. So you will skip the transfer thing and directly input to purchase invoice. Is this what you want? You think about it. Okay? Because every company have their policy. Some company, they need their staff to, match back to the purchase order or good receive note. But if you use our import supply invoice from my invoice portal directly convert to purchase invoice, that means you are going to skip this step, transfer from. Directly, you will save in purchase invoice already. That means you do not match back this previous transfer document. So are you going to accept this? If you say yes, then you go ahead. But if you say no, then this is just a reference. Okay? This is easy for you to do checking. Okay? It doesn't, serve the purpose of, help you to minimize your job. But minimize a lot lah. Apart from going to my invoice portal and look at this messy input from your supplier, it already help you a lot by screening through the supplier name, screening through the invoice number, screening through the amount, and even though the document. Okay, it really helps. But are you going to directly convert to purchase invoice from here? then this is my question to you. If you direct, that means you're going to skip the transfer from document. Okay, so you got what I mean. Okay, some question here I'm going to answer. If payment via credit card to outsource from overseas supplier, payment via credit card, you mean is it going to sell bill? Then payment doesn't outsource. I don't know your question or maybe you eliminate, you explain further. Can issue 2 sell bill for rental but payment to only one person, 50%. If the property is owner is 2 person, then you need to split the sell bill. Okay, if the property owner is husband and wife, you're going to issue 2 sell bill to different personal. That means different TIN number or different IC. Okay, and 50% or not, then you need to ask the property owner how many percent ownership for the property. If this 50-50 means 50 lah. If not, then you have to ask them. Those K1 document information is compulsory. Okay, if you are import goods from overseas using other people cargo, then it is not compulsory. You just input whatever information you got. If you tumpang container, okay, you tumpang container from the other customer or other courier service or logistic, then you can put whatever document number. No need for K1. K1 is if you have, then you put. If you don't have, no need. Possible to export this to Excel. Julia, you mean this one? Yes. Excel. Not yet at the moment. Not yet at the moment. But Excel, you can do it from My Invoice Portal. Here can export. But inside here, not yet. There's no Excel information for you to export yet. But you can filter like that lah. Can filter. Because this is not actually Excel sheet. But I think in future, maybe some enhancement by request. But now, not yet. Okay, now not yet. Means if I pay 5,000 in one period, I can issue 2,000. Yes, definitely can. You can do that. You can, even though if you don't want to right click to send to sell bill, directly you do it at your sell bill here. You can create your own separate. That means new, then you do it here. Okay? Can do it separately. If this is 2 owner, you should split to 2 sell bill. Unless this is a consolidated, that means under the relaxation period, then you no need to split lah. Okay. And I see what else. Okay, this one done. Clear MRU means here they have the clear MRU function under each of the document. That means clear MRUs mean some our software maybe will capture some memory. Like say let new, right? Then here they will capture some memory about description whatever. You do payment voucher or cash book, it's very obvious lah. Sometimes you key a word, then it will suggest some other historical transaction description. So now we can clear the MRU, and maybe you want to clear description, you want to clear reference number, you don't want to keep the previous reference number for you to view, then you can clear, remove it to the user ID. Okay. And I think this is all about. And okay. one more thing I want to emphasize for those new customer. So your classification code can be done during the transaction. That means when you key your transaction, you can select your classification code, okay? Or you may fix it at your item maintenance, which is your stock. Even though you don't have stock item, but you still can put your service item. Example, this is the labor charges, labor charges. Okay, labor. LB stand for labor, labor charges. This is not a stock transaction, but you can untick the stock, stock. Then you put here is a service. Okay, then here you put price or don't put price also can. But inside here, there is a classification code. So you may also define your classification code here. Okay, either in the transaction or in the stock item maintenance. Okay, for those doing the construction material, if your construction material must issue invoice, okay, let's say construction material, let's say it's a screw, some not pen, okay, pen. Then this one have a function called must generate. When your staff select the item code construction material LB, software will automatically ask the user, I mean the clerk, to ask TIN number from the customer. Okay, so this is how we're going to control to let the staff make less mistake, because construction material in CIDB para 4 document list, most of it must issue e-invoice. So you take this one, will enable your staff to make less mistake. If they forgot to issue e-invoice, then you have problems, okay? So take this one will enable your staff to, ask the TIN number and issue e-invoice, submit one by one. This one is exempted from consolidated e-invoice during relaxation period, okay? But after relaxation period, yes, for construction material or for those air ticket, or selling motorcycle, or selling car, then you must issue one by one submission e-invoice. Okay, and another one new function is in the cash sales, or invoice in the cash sales. So if the customer don't need invoice, example this customer, they don't need invoice, so there is no specific TIN, because what they buy also not a item that need to issue invoice, not air ticket, not construction material, it's just a normal thing. So what you do is, usually you will create the cash sales to them, right, without the TIN. But now we got new function called print the QR submission. Okay, this print the QR submission means you can still issue the normal invoice to the customer without TIN number, but your format will go back to the e-invoice format. But the QR code inside the e-invoice format, this format, there will be a QR code for customer to scan. Okay, let's say I give you a normal receipt or normal cash sales invoice, but customer, if later they think they need the e-invoice before 1 month, they can scan this QR code to request. That means if they scan this QR code, our software will ask them to, there is a link, ask them to fill up. Let you see what is that. Something like this. Okay, this is the cash sale debtor, correct? So you will issue the cash and tick print QR submission. And then you will give them a receipt or cash sales. But the receipt and cash sales must be those with the e-invoice format, Malaysia e-invoice format. That means there is a QR on the bottom lah. So when they scan this QR, there is a word saying that please scan QR to request e-invoice. That means this customer is not going to have TIN number at the first time. I mean, they are walk in, they just want to buy something and you give them cash sales receipt. But maybe they will change their mind to ask for e-invoice, okay? Then they can scan this QR and then we will have the link, ask them to fill up the buyer information. That means they need to fill up their TIN, okay? They need to validate their email. Then they will help them submit at the back end. So our software will do the submission for e-invoice at the back end. You no need to do anything, you just leave it. So if everything is correct, then we will help them to submit. Then the customer will receive the e-invoice in their invoice. Okay, they will put email address in the QR code there. So we will send them the validated e-invoice. We will send them according to our format lah. So here we will know we already submitted. Then in our software will automatically updated here. Then we inside our cash sales we will see this valid button with the QR submission. If this QR submission tick means the customer at the back end go home, he use the QR code to scan and request to e-invoice. Then our back end will do something. Our server will blah, 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 do a lot of things, AI and auto submission, blah, blah, blah. And then you will see a valid button here. That means the software will help at the back end, customer request e-invoice, that will help you to submit. Okay, then you finish. You don't need to do manual thing already. Done. So this e-invoice print QR thing, okay, this e-invoice print QR code submission thing is free now. Free of charge now. But according to HQ, they are going to ask you to buy this module. But when, I don't know. But now it's free. Later they will announce the price when to buy. So this is the how it going to happen for this cash sale customer lah. Cash sale customer lah. Somehow they walk in, they say no need e-invoice. Then later go back, they regret, they want e-invoice. Then they come back again. So no need to come back lah. Because in the receipt, we already have the QR for them to scan. Like now, if you notice a lot of restaurant outside, they also have this function. Something look like this. That means you want e-invoice, you scan and you fill up your information and you submit. So the software will help you to submit to My Invoice Portal and get your e-invoice. Then you get your email and then there is an e-invoice done. Almost look like this. So, but this is free until further notice. HQ haven't said when they're going to charge for this module, but you can use because now it's free. But you must activate this enable email lah. If not, we don't know how to send the customer email, what receipt format. So you must enable this email, enable to send the validated invoice to your customer after he requests. Any more questions? Okay. I think my explanation is about that. So if the one I explained a lot just now, blah, blah, I think when you go back and see your software, some of you already have the function and some of you may not yet have the function, but this is not hurry to you unless you tell me you are going to kickstart on 1st of January 2026, or else the rest can upgrade later, okay? The one, the existing going on doing e-invoice one, you can upgrade later also because now you are in progress doing it without any problem. Unless some of the new function you really very urgent, then you can contact me to upgrade. But all upgrade must be pre-appointment. We don't entertain ad hoc. So those new function, if you think you are very excited and want to do it, even though you are in July next year, you can do it later, no issue, because I think they are coming soon also. They are going to enhance the field lah. So if you don't want to be so hassle to do it so quick, you can delay upgrade, no issue. But the more urgent one is those customer that kickstart 1st of January. Okay, 1st of January customer, please contact me. Okay, if you haven't upgrade, but if you are already upgraded, just do it. Okay, no issue. So this recorded video I will upload to YouTube. I will upload to YouTube and I'll blast it out to you guys, and you can download or you can see at the YouTube lah, because YouTube is more clear lah. The voice, the picture, the presentation is more clear. If you don't want to download, you just view in YouTube lah. Later I will upload to YouTube. So any more question you want to raise it to me? Okay. If no more questions, then I thank you for everyone time to listen to my talk about 1 hour plus. And I hope you all benefit from what I'm talking just now. And thank you. And happy e-invoice in January. Okay. For you, those guys already finish your honeymoon. And coming soon, the last batch will be in July. Okay. And those are hitting 1 million. You are having 1 year honeymoon time also lah. Okay. Thank you very much. And anything you can WhatsApp me. Okay. Thank you and have a nice day.